Hello Booktuber, I am absolutely shocked by the number of takes I've had to do for these two videos. And that's what I get for skipping Monday. I always end up having to film more takes on Tuesday. Anyway, so for the second tag I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be doing the what makes me pick up a book tag. The tag was created by Wonderfully Bookish, and I saw the tag on two different channels, the Bookish Bryants, late last week, and I wanted to do the tag then, but I wasn't sure if I'd already done it. And then I saw it again today on Mark Richardson of Richardson Reads, and I decided to go ahead and do the tag because I'm pretty sure I haven't done it. So I'll leave a link to everybody down below. So let's get on to the questions. Do you judge a book by its cover? Yes. Although that is a very superficial and shallow judgment and is often quite wrong. Focusing just on the cover, what attracts you to pick it up? The design of the cover, the style of the cover, and also how appropriate the cover is to the subject matter. And I don't necessarily mind if it's like a visual or like a scene type cover, or a more abstract cover, or a more sort of geometric cover. I just generally, as long as it is like the design and style of the cover match the theme, genre, style of the story itself, I'm cool with it. Do you read the synopsis first, or do you prefer to go in without knowing anything about the book? I do like to read the synopsis, and in fact I also would like to read a bit more, some preview chapters, to make sure I really want the book. I have been burnt so many times that I try to make as sure as possible that I do want the book. That doesn't necessarily stop me from buying it one way or the other, because I'm insane. But I do like to know a lot about the book before I go in. And sometimes, like recently when I canceled all of my November pre-orders, I was not very comfortable not having as much information about those books as I could, because they were history and relatively expensive. And I am, I think, a lot harder or more conservative when it comes to history than I am, say, fiction, because history typically they are more expensive throughout the chain, from pre-ordering to new release to been there a while to used books. I mean, history books and nonfiction in general are usually significantly more expensive than fiction. Do you have any auto by authors? Now, in an earlier version of this video, I've done one take for this one already. I waffled the question because, on the one hand, yes, I do have some auto by authors. N.K. Jemisin, Alan Hollinghurst, among others. But at the same time, just because I auto by an author does not necessarily mean I love everything they do, that I love their entire body of work or their entire oeuvre, however you want to define that term. I mean, for example, I love Radiance by Catherine and Valenti, but I have bailed 2-3 times on space opera, and I've never gotten into Refrigerator Monologues, no matter how many times I've read it. Excuse me. So it is very sort of hit or miss for me. But there are some authors I do auto-buy or would like to auto-buy. but I haven't quite gotten around to it yet. Hopefully that makes a bit better explanation than my last answer to this question. Are you more likely to pick up a book if it includes specific element or themes such as LGBTQ+, mental health rep, disability rep, etc.? Yes and no. No, in the sense that I'm not going to parade around the whatever checkboxes a particular book has. I'm not entirely comfortable doing that because it makes me think I'm picking up the book for the wrong reasons. And while I'm not going to judge other booktubers or other readers if they want to sort of point out the checkboxes, I personally am not comfortable doing so. That said, I do want to read as diversely as possible in as many permutations of that term that I can get. Doesn't mean I necessarily like all of it. I am a very harsher reader, and the older I get, the harsher I become. Although, maybe not. We'll see in December. Anyway. And I mean, I've mentioned a few times that I really, really want a good, great fantasy, epic fantasy, featuring a gay male protagonist. Like, I want that. I mean, there are others similar that I want, but I'm not going to necessarily point out like what check boxes are checkable. I'm flipping this question again, so let's move on to the next question. Just suffice it to say, yes, but I'm not going to parade it. Do you read a book that has generally negative reviews just to form your own opinion of it? No! If I want to read a book, it's because I want to read the book. Not because I want some kind of contest with negative reviewers. No! Do you ever buy a book just because another booktuber or book blogger has reviewed it or talked about it a lot? I will usually put them onto various wish lists. And because of Booktube and occasionally book bloggers, but mostly Booktube, my Amazon, my Alibris, my book depository, all of those wish lists are ballooning like crazy. Now, it might be a while before I get around to actually picking them up, but my choices are usually influenced by Booktube, particularly Steve Donahue, SFF 180, and several others. And finally, is there anyone whose book recommendations you will generally always trust? Not really. I've generally found like there's no critic that 100% I agree with. Rather, I will agree with them some of the time and some of the time not. So it's really a mixed bag for me, I think. So yeah, that was the what makes me pick up a book tag. If you would like to do the tag, consider yourselves tagged. And I will see you tomorrow with a very disappointing NaNoWriMo update. Anyway, so until then, and for the last time, if you have yet to do so and you are able to and you have enough time, please and register. Please vote. Obviously, if you haven't already, only if you have not yet voted and you are registered and so able and have enough time, please vote. And always stay safe. And until tomorrow, thank you, Booktube. Have a great afternoon.